You guys, I am 20. Oh my goodness. Like, I can't even believe it. I'm so old now. I've been on this earth for 2 decades. But even though I feel like I'm old, 20 years young, I'm still relatively young to like other people who are older than me and stuff. So I just kind of want to talk about feelings and thoughts I had like before I turned 20 and like now being 20. Just because, yeah. If you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Joy. I make college beauty and lifestyle videos and occasionally commentary here on this channel. So if that's something that you're interested in, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Today is September 12th, and tomorrow is my 20th birthday. And so these are my last few hours of being a teenager. Like, these are my last few hours of like being 19. And that's crazy. Like, I remember like when I was like 15, 14, like I couldn't wait to be 16. But after 16, like I just didn't want to get older anymore. And it's crazy to me because it's like when I was 11, I wanted to be 11 forever and I didn't want to grow up, and then you grow up and you can't change it. But it's like 20 is still young, but you feel so old. Like I don't want to be a teenager forever, but I don't want my 20s to go by so incredibly fast. And it just feels like the older I get, the faster like my life goes and the faster like time goes and like how old I get. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be 30 in 10 years. It's just crazy. I feel like it's so crazy, and I feel like this is so cliche of me to say, but like when you turn 20, you kind of realize, hey, like I have only a decade left, like 10 years left till I'm 30. And when you're young, you think of 30 being like this really like bad old number, but then when I talk to people who are in their 30s or 40s, they look at me and think like 30 and 40 is still young, and it kind of is, like relatively speaking. And so it's just crazy, like when you're young, like you think that way, and I'm like, oh my gosh, 30, like I just still remember when I'm like 14 and 15, like 30 years old. And so it just kind of like makes your life seem like it's going by way faster than it actually is, or way faster than you actually want it to be. So yeah, I'm no longer a teenager, but I still get acne, and I thought when I turned to become an adult, so like in my 20s, acne would go away, but I still have that problem. So it's crazy because in like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I could be married. I haven't always been someone that thought about getting married young until I met my current boyfriend of 3 years. So that would be happening after college, not during college. I know someone commented on my channel, not to be rude, but if a guy hasn't married you and it's been 3 years, I don't think it's gonna be happening. The reason why for that is like we are broke. Like we don't have any money. Like I barely have money to support myself, so it's like we have no money for like a wedding. We're in college, so we want to focus on that. I can't have a kid in college, so yeah, that's another thing. So waiting until after college, when that would be, I don't know, depends on finances. Because I feel like I'm just fresh out of high school, but all these like adulting things and like milestones are gonna happen like in this decade of my 20s. Crazy too to think like, okay, in my 20s, I know I'm probably gonna have kids in my late 20s, which is crazy to me because it's like, let's say I have kids at 28, like that's 8 years from now, and I feel like I love kids and I want kids and I want more than 2, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what if I don't accomplish like all my goals before having kids? Because I know like when you have kids, you have to like focus on them and not like your personal interests, especially when they're younger. And it's just like, I want to, like when I get to that stage in life, I want to be a good parent, but I also like don't want to have to put all my goals and dreams and like aspirations on like the back burner either. And so it's just kind of like I'm in this rush against time to accomplish as many of those things that are very time consuming now when I don't have kids or that type of responsibility. But it just makes my life feel so much shorter than it actually is, just because I'm racing against time. And like I don't want to have kids in my 30s like middle, like 30s, just because of like the risk of pregnancy complications, which means I have to have them in my 20s. It's another thing. My 20s, could be married, could have kids, which is like really foreign to me right now as like a 20-year-old in college, because I'm just like, I'm still a baby myself, even though I kind of am not. I remember when I was in middle school, I couldn't wait to the day I was like in high school and in college where I could have more responsibilities and more independence. Like I'm very independent, so I just like always wanted to be able to do my own thing, accomplish my goals without having like parents tell me like, oh, you can't do this, that's not safe, or this and that. Not that I don't listen to parental like advice and stuff, but I've always like been wishing and waiting for this day in my 20s where I could have that type of freedom, so to speak, because some of you out there, especially MGTOW, I don't think you understand this, but if you are a girl, especially if you are growing up in a very like ethnic non-white home, you do have more restrictions on your life, especially like in high school, middle school, and below, because parents are worried about you being trafficked, like human trafficking. People are worried about you getting pregnant, people worry about get you like raped or stuff like that, or drugged, or just being like taken advantage of. And so because like parents realize that there are a lot of creepy men out there and they want to protect their daughters, and it sucks that our world is like that. And I understand not all guys are like this, but it sucks that the world is like that, because I've never really been afraid of stuff like that, because I know that God's gonna protect me, and all I have to do is give all these guys my resting bee face and you won't mess with me. So I know it's not as simple as that, but I've just never been afraid of that. But I've had a lot of things, and I appreciate my parents doing this for me because they want to keep me safe. And I know there's a lot of parents that don't care about their kids' safety, and so I'm really appreciate that. And I know I'm not the only girl that deals with this, but I couldn't wait for my 20s, because then I could make decisions for myself, and I could be able to be more free and not feel like I was constrained to like something, like not be able to go outside past like 11 or something because it's not safe for women to be out, or not be able to drive to LA by myself because like I don't know, I haven't been driving that long. So it's like more privileges and stuff, and the more privileges that you have and the more freedom you have and independence, the more responsibilities you have. So even though I have more responsibilities now and sometimes they get overwhelming and stressful, I would not trade any of the responsibilities and privileges I have now for less freedom and less independence. I think that there is a healthy balance between independence and like, what's the opposite of it? Not being independent, because we all need each other at the end of the day. So I realize I can't do everything on my own. Like I have to have God, I have to have help from other people, but I do try and get stuff done, hustle and do things. And so another thing too, like I'm a Christian, if you don't know that already, if you couldn't tell by the Bible verse behind me. So we believe in a thing that's heaven and hell. You either go to heaven or hell. And even though like I follow God and all this and that, I think that still like human nature is to like still panic and freak out about death. So sometimes I'll have like these deep thoughts with myself, and I'll think to myself like, oh my gosh, like when I was like 10 or something, I would be like, okay, I have like theoretically, technically, like hypothetically, I have a long time to live. But the older I get, I'm like, okay, I'm 20 now, like I don't have as much time to potentially live as I did like 10 years ago. So the fear of like not being on this earth and how I will feel, like let's say if I was in heaven, and like the feeling of just not being on this earth, it's just kind of like weird. And I think about that like the more I get older. So something that I just like constantly struggle with is the fact that like sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my time in school just because I feel so unfulfilled. And like the more I think about it is like the more, do I really want this for my life? It's my mission to enjoy my 20s to the greatest degree, especially since I didn't enjoy my teens. Like I feel like there was too many things, and some of it was self-inflicted, some of it was circumstantial, some of it was other people throughout my early childhood and teenhood that have impacted it this way. But I can't change the past. I can only focus on right now. In the future is that I have this like this goal to enjoy my 20s, to enjoy the rest of my life, and not like regret it or not, I don't know, mix hard work and like to mix hard work and fun together and not just work, because I feel like I really didn't have that much of like, I didn't really have a fulfilling or a good childhood. I've been blessed. I am blessed. I should say that. But it's just like right now, like in this time of my life, I enjoy it the most out of any time in my whole entire life on this earth. And so I just constantly struggle with the anxiety of having my life potentially become like it was in my teens, and I really don't want to, you know, at the end of my life just be unhappy about not living life to the fullest. So that's what I'm trying to do in my 20s. Another good thing, my mom finally sees me as an adult. Up until this point, she really hasn't. She's just saw me as a teenager, so that's great. Can't rent a golf cart on Catalina Island. You have to be like 25. That's the case. A lot of decision making in the 20s. Yeah, I mean, it honestly sucks. Youth is so short-lived. So I was gonna try and graduate college in 3 years, but I decided why put myself in that stress and just like do the 4 years and just fully embrace the amount of like youth, so to speak, left. And so that's what I'm going to do. So if any of you guys out there who are turning 20 or 20, like, let's enjoy the last part of our youth. And it's something interesting, like someone in my life said before, it's like you're gonna work for your whole entire life. And this is when I tried to get a job at 16 in high school, and she was like, and I was gonna quit cross country for it, and she was like, you're gonna work your whole entire life, so you might as well just enjoy your youth right now, basically, and like do cross country and not get a job now. Like, wait to get a job later on, because once you start working, you don't stop working until you retire or you die. So yeah. So thank you guys for watching this video. Have a blessed day, and I love you guys, and bye!